Hola, hola. It's your girl, Erika from America. Welcome to the Confidence Chronicles podcast. This podcast is all about helping you stand in who you are. Stop giving a fuck what people think about you. Start standing as your fully expressed self. As you are, queen, as is, there is no filter needed. You are fucking awesome. And I am here to remind you, I'm a confidence coach, a business mentor, a speaker, an author, and I am obsessed with women standing up, showing up, and creating their confidence. And I cannot wait to dig into today's episode with you. All right, my love, I am coming to you live from my car. I am wanting to do this episode because there's so much that I need to tell you, share with you, reflect with you on, and I just couldn't wait. I was like, I have to film this right now. I have to record this right now because it's so potent for me. So we just got back from our 30-day tour in the United States. For those that don't know, or maybe you're new to the podcast, I live in Australia. Erika from America, but I live in Australia. I've been in Australia for 16 years. Okay, my friend? Very long time I've been in Australia. And it was only last year, 2024, that we really went back as a family. So I had been here locked down, hanging out by myself, not wanting to go back to the United States because of a lot of trauma and past experiences that I had. And it was really 2024 that forced me to go. If you listen to the podcast, you know the story. If not, you should definitely go listen. I did the whole episode about like what really happened behind the scenes within our last trip to the USA. And it was very sad and it was full on and it was crazy. And I highly recommend you go listen if you don't know the tea, because we ain't going to talk about it on this one. This trip was next level. I wanted Hamish to be here, my husband, but it's just so crazy for us right now. We kind of just got right back into it. As soon as I landed in Australia, we had like 5 days to recalibrate. We kept the kids out of school. So we took them out of school for 4 weeks or something. And as soon as we got back, we were like, we're going to spend 3 days getting ourselves back on track. I do not get jet lag because I'm annoying like that. I just don't get it. It doesn't happen to me. Thank goodness. So I was good. I was tired at night, like 4 or 5 p.m. I was like feeling like it was midnight, but that was it. My family was struggling. The kids were struggling. So we kept them out of school for an extra 2-3 days. And then they went to school Friday, had the weekend, and then we rolled back into school. But then the following week, I was like, I hit, all my speaking engagements came up. I had an event with like 500 women with this global company, flew to the top of Australia. It was like a 3-hour flight. Then flew to Sydney for another event. Like I've been flying around. So it's like, we're back in. And I love it. I am definitely #tour life made for me. I am definitely extroverted as hell. In case I didn't know, that was my blood type, is E for extroverted. I love it so much. And it's been amazing. But I wanted to record this because, wow. What an experience going to the United States of America with my 2 children, who are young, 7 and 9, and my husband for 30 days to do a 9-city book tour. So my book, Becoming Magnetic, came out in January in Australia, New Zealand. And then the global release for UK, Canada, and the United States was May 14. And so I was like, I'm going to the United States. And if you are a business owner listening to this, if you're a woman who's like, I want to write a book, I want to speak on stage, maybe you want to up-level your personal brand, maybe you've been watching what I've been doing and you're like, what's the Queen's Table? Applications are open for the Queen's Table. Go to the link in the show notes and click on the thing and find it and check it out. I will be sharing so much more on that lens around when you get a book deal, if you do self-publishing versus book deal, the differences, all of that. So that's not this episode because holy shit, that's its own world. So I'm like, I'm going to America. My publishers were like, what? You're going to go to the United States? I'm like, yeah, going to America. I'm going to promote my book. I know most of my audience, because I check my analytics, are from the United States. So my podcast, mainly in the US, my social media, mainly in the US. At the time of recording this, unfortunately, I have had a little issue with my social media and my Instagram was suspended. I have no idea why, if somebody maybe reported it or did some hacking or what. Anyway, they're looking into it, but it's been really, 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 really hard. I'll just say that because I spent so long working on my social media. And if I talk about it too much, I'm going to cry because literally I am obsessed with talking to y'all on social media. I love my Instagram community. I talk to you. I send DMs. I story every day. I love it. I'm actually one of the few business people who, strangely enough, is obsessed with it. Like, I enjoy it so much. It's not a task. It's not hard work. I feel like it's such a gift that I get to talk to you on Instagram. Anyway, just stay tuned for that because that's a whole shemazel. Like, what a disaster, whatever's happening with that. And I hope it gets fixed. Say a prayer. Anyway, back to it. So we decide we're going to take our kids. We're going to pull them out of school for 4 weeks. Me and my husband, who is very introverted, very shy, very quiet. He's not shy, but he's introverted. He's very like Cancerian projector. If you know what a projector is, I'll do a little bit of people, but then I got to come back into my crab shell. And I'm obsessed with people. And we have kids. Now, traveling with kids in itself is sometimes really hard. And yes, there's parts that are really lovely and cute, but I think people don't talk enough about how difficult it is because kids are hard and they don't give you a break and the travel is hard in itself. And so it was a super massive challenge and test for us to go, are we going to be able to do this? Erika Cramer learned that I'm not allowed to book flights because I booked all these like 6 a.m. flights, which means you got to get up at like 3:45 and get an Uber at like 4:20 and then get to the airport at like, it's just wild. So I will never be able to book flights for my family again. I have been fired from that job, which was like, yeah, I should be fired. It was hectic. But we learned so much about traveling as a family. We learned so much about you deciding to turn up your own volume as a business owner and as a personal brand. We learned so much about connections, about relationships, about community, like to see my community in real life. Some of y'all that listen to the podcast were in these rooms. I love you. I was taken back at every venue where I got to see you in real life. I got to meet you. Some of my clients that have been in my community and my programs for years, that I've been working with these people for almost 8 years, and I got to hug them in real life. And the stories of the women in the audience, like some people just saw that there was an event at the bookstore and took a seat. They were magnetically drawn. Some people were walking and I was like, hey, you come and sit down. And they did. Some people drove 6 hours with their children, their daughters, the kids, to come to the book signing, to sit down, to ask me questions, to buy my book, to give me a hug. Like, I can't tell you how much that meant to me and how much I cried. I cried so much on this tour. And I really realized that my own work with my therapist now is about receiving. I really struggled to receive the love that they had to give. I really struggled to accept the fact that somebody wanted to drive 6 hours and wait in line and then take a photo with me and speak to me for 5 minutes and then go back in their car to drive again. Like, I struggled. I was like, what do I do? Do I give them gas money? Like, oh my God, I should give them, oh, what can I do for them? I don't deserve that. And like, I don't consciously believe that, but something in my nervous system was really struggling to accept and receive. And so we working on that in therapy behind the scenes, in case you wanted to know. And I got to hear stories. Like, I met mothers who hugged me and in my ear were like, thank you for saving my daughter. My daughter needs you more than ever now. Thank you for helping my daughter. You got my daughter out of this. My daughter quit her job because of you. I left this relationship because of you. Like, I can't even tell you the conversations that people gave and told me. And that's the whole point. Now, I want to say, doing something like this, if you listen to my podcast, I did a podcast maybe like 3 episodes before we left called I'm Scared, and like taking risks and being scared, but doing it anyway. I was so nervous about Chicago. I was like, I don't know nobody in Chicago. I don't know if anybody's going to show up. I know people in Puerto Rico, like my family, but I didn't really have community in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico sold out, LA sold out, Boston sold out. Like, Chicago was packed. Like, I'm shocked. New York didn't come through, and I was shocked too about New York. But I did it at the bottom of Brooklyn, and I didn't realize how far it was from Manhattan. And I think that the location hindered people, if I'm honest, and I didn't know. This is the shit you don't know. But I'm grateful for whoever did come to New York. Like, that was intimate, and it was beautiful. So it wasn't Dallas. That was beautiful. So Like, we got to be willing to take these risks and do these things that most people are like, are you crazy? That's insane. I'm like, that's my favorite thing to do. The things that people are like, oh, that's crazy. I don't know about that. I'm like, let's do it. I want to fucking do that. Like, I want to do that crazy shit because I want to be on the edge. I want to be pushing myself. I want to be connecting and committing. If you've ever heard me say, like, I love what Tony Robbins is doing, I would like to be the female Tony Robbins for women in my own way, in my Puerto Rican ass way, you know? Like, I see a sea of pink, 50,000, 100,000 women in a venue. I see us speaking the shit that we know because we've been through it, right? I see, like, I want that visibility. I want that people to relate and understand. I want it to be practical. I want it to be open. I want it to be raw and real. Like, that's what I desire. And so if I desire that, then I need to show up like that. I need to do the scary shit like that. Nobody's coming to knock on your door and be like, oh, I heard you want to be the female Tony Robbins. Oh, I heard you want to be on Oprah's couch. Here you go. Here's her email. No, nobody's coming to do that. And so I learned about that a long time ago. And I was like, this year, the word of the year for me and Hamish, 2025, when we did our goals and intentions workbook, which if you didn't get our goals and intentions workbook, click the link in the show notes, or if you can find me on social media. You send me an email. Damn it, social media sucks right now for me. But anyway, I did a whole workbook. Every year we do a workbook, and it's the Thrive, like Thrive in 2025. And we ask you to pick a word of the year. So this year when we were doing it, we were like, we're not going to pick a word. Hamish picked 2 words, and I picked 2 words. And my 2 words were arrive and amplify. Like, in 2025, I want to arrive. I want to be like, I am here. And I do that already, but I was like, I'm going to amplify that shit. I'm going to arrive amplified. And Hamish's words, my husband, was audacious and excellence. And I'm going to tell you now that this entire trip was us arriving audaciously, amplifying our voice, amplifying our community, amplifying our book, amplifying our message with excellence. And we took our children to tell you, I need a whole nother podcast to tell you about the kids and the experience that our kids had and us seeing our kids in 9 different cities. We were in the United States and the Caribbean. We went to Puerto Rico. Y Puerto Rico se va la luz. Puerto Rico no tiene agua caliente. My kids were like, what is this? Like, my kids were bougie. I was like, okay, y'all need to travel. If you think this is ghetto, that you don't have hot water, wow. Like, we had to boil water at my dad's house for my kid's bath because he was like, that water is freezing. I'm like, it's Puerto Rico, bro. It's hot as hell. So, like, the resiliency muscle was getting stretched, okay, for our kids. The bougie muscle was getting stretched. And so to be able to do that and actually live the words that we chose, I would say this year is the year that we have lived the words that we chose for the year more than ever. We always choose words of the year. And at the end of the year, we're like, did we live that word? I don't know. We change the word to this now, right? But this year, 100 to take a self-funded, to pay the money for 4 people to travel across the United States from Australia in your Australian ass dollars. AUD is like 35% less. So if you have 1,000 Australian dollars, it's, when we went, it was like 600 US dollars. So, like, the dollar was not good for us. Penguin's not paying for none of this. And I'm not saying this to, like, as a sub story. I'm saying it to, like, you really, when you do big shit, need to back yourself. Not only energetically, emotionally, physically, but also financially. Right? Like, doing this, Hamish learned so much about money. I've talked about it before on the podcast. Like, I don't know, after I learned about money and creating money and that I'm a creator, I let go of money beliefs. Like, I don't have anything that's tying me. Don't have scarcity. Like, I was able to let go of my money beliefs, the negative ones. But my husband, Hamish, has always juggled that, like, money this, money that. What does this mean? What does that mean? And I'm very like, we're going to charge this. We're going to do this. And he's always like, hold on. And he does all the finances for our business. His dad was an accountant, so he has his shit. I had my shit. I feel like I cleared my shit the day that I launched my business. I was like, fuck it, I'm not holding on to money beliefs that don't serve me. But, like, just because I'm not doesn't mean my husband doesn't. So this trip really, I think for him, if he was here, he would be like, the invisible line that, like, you have this much money and that means this costs that and that means this. The account, it's called cash flow, because flow, baby. It flows in and it flows out, but it flows back in. Because we did shit that we know to do so that it flows back in. So when the dollars were shifting and changing, it was such an awesome thing for us to up level financially and be like, hell yeah, what does that mean? Nothing. Because then next week, this comes, boom, and then here comes that, then here comes that. And it's like, we wouldn't have got that experience if we were playing it safe at home. No, we were out there on the road, literally navigating this. Nobody got sick. Nobody got a toothache. Nobody got gastro. Nobody got a fever. Thank God that nobody got sick, because when we went in 2024, we had all the things. It was just seamless. Every flight was incredible. People were so kind. Like, we had such an amazing experience that when we got back home, we were like, I don't know how to tell you, so zen. I just feel like we've been so chill. And we're like, man, that's nothing. We could do this. We should go to Europe now. Like, my husband was like, I'm sad that we're going to go back to Australia. Like, we actually could live on the road with our kids. We could be virtual. We could be digital nomads. We could do shit from wherever we are in the world. I still did my calls and my coaching. I still talk to people. I got a literary agent in America, which was like one of the big goals that I wanted to do. I wanted to do my book tour, and I wanted to get a literary agent for my book, and I did. And she's half Latina, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy, because that was like, it's been very hard. And the fact that I could get one, I can't even tell you, I'm so happy. But like, core memories. My son turned 10 years old in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, I got to meet my family that I didn't know. I mean, I knew I had them, but I didn't know I was one of 8. I thought I was one of 7. And I would jokingly be like, there's 8 of us, but there actually is 8 of us. So I met a new brother on WhatsApp who lives in Pennsylvania, Miguel. I met my sister. Last time I saw my sister, she was 5. I met her, she was 29. I met 2 brothers that I had never met. No, 3 brothers that I had never met before, ever. My eldest brother, Mikey, never met him. Met him in real life. He's beautiful. Met Abisael, never met him. My son loves him. He was so adorable. He's totally like my brother. He's hyped like me and crazy. And then I met Josue, who's older. He looks Sri Lankan, bro. He like doesn't even look Puerto Rican. I was like, are you Sri Lankan? Like, I met these people. I had a massive family reunion. And my dad was so happy. And like, my husband played dominoes with my dad and like learned how to play, and then like hustling people. Like, we went to Puerto Rico. My kids were in Puerto Rico. We were on the island. Like, the music, I got to meet friends. Puerto Rico was sold out. There was only standing space available. And I did my entire Puerto Rico book signing in Espanol. Like, the whole thing. I met friends. I met people. It was just magic, man. Like, my kid turned 10. We were like kayaking in the Condado Lagoon. We went to El Morro. I took my husband around. Like, we went to Bad Bunny's bar. We had some café con ron. It was amazing. That was like, I can't tell you. I can't tell you the experience that was. And then I went to Dallas. And Dallas was the only place that I stopped at, because my husband, who passed away, Gio, his family lives there. So his mom and dad moved to Dallas, Texas. And the only reason I did Dallas was because they moved there. I don't know anybody in Dallas. I'm sure I have community in Dallas, but I didn't know anyone. So my plan was I was going to spend the day with Gio's family, like Gio's mom, Gio's dad. If you don't know Gio, I had a husband who passed away, and his family was from Boston, and they moved to Texas. And they picked me up at the airport, and I got to see his mom and his stepfather, who's like his father. And I spent the whole day with them. We went and saw his brother, who we almost couldn't see. I was like, I have to see Christian. I got to see Kui. We went and saw him. And it was surreal. His dad told me things about him, like falling in love with me, that I never knew about high school, and being in the house and seeing things. And I don't know how to tell you what that meant to me, what that meant for me. And I feel like it meant a lot to them too. And it was very healing. Like, I just cried and cried. I literally stayed with them all day up until I had to go change for the book signing. And I got to the book signing and I was just raw. I was cracked open. I'm like, guys, today will be very emotional. I will be crying because all day I got to spend the day with Gio's family. And many of them knew, like, people drove from Oklahoma to Dallas. People drove from San Antonio to Dallas with their daughters. Like, I just can't. I can't even tell you. I will spend 17 years telling you about the experiences. But Puerto Rico, Dallas with Gio's family, and Boston to see my mom. My mom turned 70, and she's much better than I saw her last year, but she's aged. She's not the woman I know. She's not who I remember. She is a sick, withered woman who is mentally unwell and has the mind of a toddler. And it's really sad because I feel like I said goodbye to her, but she's still alive. And that's really hard. That was really hard to see her. And I did everything I could for her while I was there. But yeah, she's not who I know her to be. And so making amends with that. Yeah, like, it's hard. If anybody has a parent with dementia or Alzheimer's or aging and they're just not available, but they're still alive, you know what I mean. It can almost feel like you lost a parent, but they're still living. It's very weird. And I'm still coming to terms. Another thing I'm working on in healing, and will be continuing to heal. We had a beautiful time in Boston. I was on the news. I went to my old high school, and I got to speak to the kids in the high school, and I was also fucking like, holy shit. To be in my old high school where I met Gio, and to have my husband there with my kids and walking around and speaking to the kids who were in the same program that I was in, going on the newspaper. I was in the newspaper on the front cover. I went into NBC Boston and did a segment with them. We went to Salem because my husband loves the witches and the witch trials, and we finally got to go and did a tour. Like, we did so many things. I got to see my family. Gio's sister came to the Boston signing, and she got up and she spoke, and I got to hug her and spend time with her and see high school friends and see cousins. And like, my social worker from when I was 15 came. She spoke, Nicole. Like, I can't believe it. It was such a healing trip, and I feel like I left pieces of myself in the United States once again. And I always go back and pick these pieces up and heal. And it was just so amazing. And I'm obviously going to unpack more as we go, because I can't tell you everything, but huge trip. LA, we left just as the riots were happening. LA was fine for us. Everything was okay. I'm so sad to see what is going on with the Latin people, with the immigration, with the United States. It's so distressing to witness and put your finger in the air and feel the wind and the energy of the United States in certain parts and places. And then in other parts and places, people are joyful and happy and everything's gorgeous. And I'm like, what are you going to focus on? And so we focused on uplifting our community. We focused on talking about empowering our women. We focused on what we wanted to build and create. We focused on showing our kids an experience. We focused on traveling and connecting and freedom and impact. And so for us, the trip was amazing. I cannot wait to come back. I plan on coming back a lot more. I want to be there 4 to 5 times a year. And I might come back on my own next time. But I got to hang out with some amazing women in business. Got to meet some boss-ass women that are just divine. I ain't even going to name drop, but they're cool as fuck. And new friends, and just masterminded with them. And so the trip was everything. My friends, my family, my kids, my husband, my community. I mean, like, what more could I ask for? And people bought my book. My book was well received. And so it was awesome. And I have so much more that I want to share with you, but I just wanted to say, if I got to see you on tour, thank you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for making the time. Thank you for sharing your stories with me. Shout out to Kelly, who wrote me a freaking letter in Chicago and has joined my program, The Next Level. Shout out to Yossi and all the women from the Bad Moms event in New Jersey. I got to do a keynote in Jersey. Yo, that was like a big-ass party with Dominicans everywhere, Puerto Ricans, and I was just feeling like I was at a party, and then I was doing a keynote, and like the women were just incredible, amazing, a gift. The whole thing was a gift. And if you were there, thank you. If you missed it, I'm sorry, but I will be back. If you don't live in the United States and you're like, I'm in the UK, I hear you. I hear you, people. I'm coming to the UK. That's the next stop. But we need to recuperate right now. My husband's like, no more tours. No more tours for a little while. I'm like, yeah, we'll see what happens. But he made it. He did a very good job. He was incredible. My kids were amazing. My 7 and now 10-year-old did incredibly well. Flights were great. Everything was fantastic. And coming back to this beautiful country, Australia, it's so clean, it's so chill, it's so quiet, but it's beautiful, and I'm happy to be home. But I'm also looking forward to the next trip. And so I love you. Thank you for all the birthday love to everyone who sent me a beautiful message or an email. If I haven't responded, I literally don't have access to my Instagram. But if you emailed me or messaged me or DM'd me, I'm going to get it back, and I'm going to come back to you. Please stay tuned. I'm just very grateful, so grateful for this community. And the last thing I'm going to say that you need to know, please listen, do not stop listening right now. There is a ridiculous situation happening with my program, The Next Level. It has been on launch offer, and the launch offer is ending. So literally at the end of June 30th, 2025 is the last day that it will be at the price that it's at. If you're listening to this in the future, I'm very sorry. I love you so much. It's still a good bargain, I'm sure. But if you're here with me rocking now, and you want to join this, if you want to work with me, if you read the book, if you've been reading my books, if you've been following my social media, if you've been listening to my podcast, and you're like, I want to work with Erika at this capacity, this is your chance to do so. And it will never be this cheap again. I promise you that. And so we've put this amazing launch offer because we wanted to give people the chance to join us and make it sustainable. There's an extended payment plan. There are like so many incredible bonuses. It's ridiculous. So get it happening. You got like, I don't know, 7 days, 8 days, 6 days are left for this to finish at the end of June. And if you're listening to this afterwards, email me, support@thequeenofconfidence.com, and be like, yo, I missed the deal. Can you hook me up with something? We will throw something in there for you if you email me and you missed it. But right now it's happening, and I'm so excited that it's going to go down. I can't wait to welcome you. For those of you that met me in America, thank you. I love you deeply, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. I freaking love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your ears and your energy and your attention. Thank you for letting me into your world. And thank you so much for listening and tuning in to this podcast. There are so many podcasts you could listen to, and I deeply, deeply, for real, appreciate you listening to mine. Do me one big favor, one big thing. Please share this episode or this podcast with a woman who you know needs to hear this. This is my mission on planet Earth, to serve as many women as possible so that we could show up, stand up, speak up, and create the confidence and the life that we desire. I appreciate you, my love. I will see you on the next episode.